we expect. Now, when we talk of galamsey, it is more or less defined as illegal mining. Illegal mining doesn't necessarily mean that those doing it do not have license. The directive given is that those doing illegal mining, in other words, those who don't have license, should stop. That is not what we are calling for. When you go into the report, especially from Dr. or Professor Frimpong Boateng's report, you realize that there are individuals who have got legitimate licenses. But the problem is that they go beyond where they've been given the consignments.
Emmanuel Wilson is a member of the Crusaders Against Galamsey group. Now, some Catholic priests who also took part of the prayer walk spoke to Citi News.
You can see that people from all walks of life are part of this work. That shows how concerned people are. This is non-political. This is to ensure that we are able to get our voices heard. And what God charges us to do as good stewards of the environment, we are also partaking in that. One thing is that when good people keep quiet, evil people's action reign. And we must ensure that we speak against mismanagement of the environment, and then we talk to all our congregants to ensure that whoever is engaged in the pollution of the environment is dealt with or stops.
We've been careless with creation. We are praying for our nation Ghana and her leaders, parents, chiefs, religious leaders and government to come together and find a quick solution to galamsey and all other environmental menaces.
You heard there some Catholic priests speaking ahead of the prayer walk organized by the Catholic Church. Let's go over the phone lines and speak to Jerry Jeffrey Annan, who is monitoring this particular protest. Good afternoon, Jerry. Thank you for joining us. Now, what's your assessment of the prayer walk? And before you tell us what your assessment is, where did it start from and where is your current location?
The protest has been a very peaceful one. So far, so good. Police have been very professional. The protest was started from the premises of the Holy Spirit Cathedral has now led us to the stretch right in front of the police headquarters. We used the Rich Runabout stretch through to the Independence Avenue stretch. So we are currently right in front of the National Police headquarters.
Okay, and where is your destination? Where are you expected to end?
We are heading towards the Christ the King Catholic Church right opposite the Jubilee House.
Okay, and we understand that there's supposed to be some petition presented to the presidency.
Yes, that is also going to happen as we head. So,
please go ahead.
Once the congregation gets to the Christ the King Church, they would then put together a group to hand over the petition to whoever they want to hand it over to.
What has the response to this prayer walk been in terms of participation?
So the numbers are huge. There are about hundreds of Catholic worshippers. There are groups like Crusaders Against Galamsey group. I've seen also Bernard Mona, the flag bearer of PNC, with his entourage joining this protest. The numbers are quite huge.
All right, and what has the response of these protesters been? Are they okay with the interventions made by the government so far?
Clearly, when I engaged them earlier this morning, most of them are disappointed in the government's directive because they want a complete ban on all mining activities in the country, at least until our water bodies and then our environment returns to its natural state. Let me speak to Reverend Father Nicholas, who is here with me, to also give us his take on what the progress of the protest so far. Father, you are live on Citi FM.
Yo, so good afternoon to everyone.
All right, so what's your assessment of the protest so far? What is the end game? What do you seek to achieve?
Okay, so the environmental work is meant to create awareness. It's meant to let the people understand that the rest of nature is important to everyone, especially to the church. Very recently, Pope Francis came out with Laudato Si, which is a document he's trying to insist that we should all pay attention to our environment, Mother Earth, because that is our common home.
All right. Now, your fight is clearly to bring an end to illegal mining. The president has put in place some directives to make sure that this menace is kept. Is it that you are not pleased with his response, or because you are slated to go on a protest today, that is how come you are still carrying it out despite the president's directive?
Well, I mean, if I'm asking for God to help me to get a house or to get something, and God gives it to me, I'll still go on and thank Him. And that's what we are doing. So if the president does something, we are very grateful, and we are asking that he should do more. He should add some other things to it, and we are thanking him also and thanking God that some things are beginning to change.
All right, quickly, last one before we go. Where would the petition be presented?
It will be at the Jubilee House.
All right. So that was Reverend Father Nicholas, who was also giving his take on the protest so far, and then what they seek to achieve the end game of this protest.
Thank you very much, Jerry. That was Jerry Jeffrey Annan, who is monitoring that prayer walk for us. We'll come to you in subsequent bulletins for more updates. Let's still stay on issues having to deal with illegal mining. Now, the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyamiche, has emphasized that the fight against illegal mining or galamsey can only be successful if the country adopts shared values. He recalled how a visit to galamsey sites somewhere last year revealed that some traditional leaders, out of fear of criticism from their peers who are involved in the practice, have chosen to ignore the destruction happening in their areas. Apostle Nyamiche believes that conflicting values among the country's leadership have contributed to the current situation the country finds itself in. Speaking to the youth leadership of the Church of Pentecost at the Younger Generation Politicians and Leaders Conference at the Pentecost Convention Center in Gomafete, Apostle Nyamiche urged the youth to set aside conflicting values and actively support the fight against illegal mining.
When we were going to visit the galamsey site, and just to ascertain what was going on, I think about a year ago, then we went to this chief, and the chief said, as for me, galamsey, obi anya o mission so. And he was, then I asked him, but chief, are there some chiefs who are involved in this? I said, no there, I mean maybe them cry. Why we are not able to solve galamsey is that there are no shared values. This one has his thinking. This one has his thinking on the issue. If we all sit down as human beings, we will solve this problem. That is why we always need good leaders. Now listen, we all have our minds. So when a leader is not directing us to where the thing should go, all of us will come on with our opinions, and that is what we mean by division. And nothing is solved. And so we want a people living with conflicting values will find development and mountain to climb. We need a moral vision. Once we are living with conflicting values, development will be a mountain to climb.
Speaking on the issue of corruption, Apostle Nyamiche outlined some of the practices that must be stopped if the fight against the menace is to be won.
So, deforestation is also corruption. Immorality is corruption. Deviant sexual behavior is also corruption. LGBTQ is corruption. False judgment, whether at the market or at the court, is corruption. Illegal connection is also corruption of electrical guidance. Favoritism is also corruption. Nepotism is corruption. Overspeeding is corruption. Overloading is corruption. There is also corruption of our beaches.
You heard the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyamiche. The Anti-Galamsey Task Force, Operation HALT, is currently on the Pra River in the Central Region after burning 30 pieces of equipment on the Bream River in the Eastern Region yesterday. The swift move from the Eastern to the Central Region on day 2 is part of the task force's strategy to suppress illegal miners across the country. Speaking to Citi News, Operation HALT Task Force Commander Colonel Eric Tenadu noted that 8 chamfangs have been destroyed, 1 locally manufactured pistol seized, and several water pumping machines dismantled. According to him, the first phase of the operations will last for 2 weeks, during which they plan to patrol all major river bodies.
And so far, we have been able to destroy 10 champagne, and then some water pumping machines, a number of them, about 7 of them. And then we have been able to seize one single barrel weapon, locally manufactured, and a BB cartridge, and then a set of mechanic tools. We have seized all these things, and we have bent some holes, the holes that they are using to take the water from the river and wash back to the river. We've gathered all the holes and we've bent everything. And currently we are preparing to move to another area. When we go to the site, they are the escape. Then these are some of the items that we picked from the site. Yes, for military operations, usually, if you achieve success, surprise should be the leading role. And so that is the reason we are here today. I'm unable to tell you where we are moving next, but then I can assure you that we are visiting all the major water bodies in the country. And so they should all be prepared for us. They will surely see us, but as to when, I cannot tell.
You heard there the Operation Halt Task Force Commander Colonel Eric Tenado. This is still Citi Prime News, still to come.
He spoke to the players passionately. Yes, my issue with it was that should that have been recorded and put it in the public domain like that?
Black Stars former striker Augustine Ahimfo says lack of a supportive environment is weighing down the Black Stars in the AFCON qualifiers. We'll bring you the details of this story and others when we return from this break. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You all come back. The Electoral Commission, the EC, has denied claims it is printing ballot papers, saying that the exercise will only commence after the Commission provides ballot statistics to all candidates, political parties, and printing houses. The EC says the printing of notices of poll for both the presidential and parliamentary elections is, however, scheduled to begin today. The EC, in a statement, says it remains committed to transparency and will provide ballot statistics to candidates, political parties, and all printing houses before the printing of ballot papers starts. The EC also urged the public and all stakeholders to trust the Electoral Commission to deliver a transparent, credible, free and fair election in December. Still on elections, the Greater Accra Regional Branch of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, says it is confident of winning at least 27 constituencies in the region during the December 7 elections. The party believes it can win 2 more seats in the region. In an interview with Citi News during a street campaign at Ritz Junction, the chairman of the NDC in the Greater Accra region, Emmanuel Ashimon, expressed optimism about the party's potential to capture the majority of votes in the region.
Our target of the 25 seat, the Agenda 25 seat, is coming on, and based on the research and the analysis that we've done, we are even thinking of adding out 2 more. So we are looking at 27 and leaving 9 to our sisters and brothers at the other side. So campaign is going very well. The party is well attractive in the Greater Accra region. We are ahead of campaigning strategies. We are ahead of the numbers. You could see this morning, we are here at a popular place called the Ritz Junction. This is a 2 constituency joined together. So this is a boundary road to make sure that this time the campaign in Greater Accra, we've done it from the bottom to the top approach. we are selling the NDC. The 24-hour economy must be understood very well. So we are taking our time to explain to the people in the traffic. We've printed enough of the frequently asked questions of the 24-hour economy, 2 million of it, for us to give it to the people in traffic.
That was the chairman of the NDC in the Greater Accra region, Emmanuel Ashimo. Now, Samuel Atamils, who is the son of former President John Evans Atamils, joined the street campaign urging the youth to come out in their numbers to vote for the NDC on December 7.
NDC and His Excellency John Mahama can come out and implement policies that will favor us, that will bring us jobs. He's talking about apprenticeship programs. The women are going to get their youth, the Women's Bank. We're going to get 24-hour economy so that everybody can go to work, whether it is morning, afternoon, or evening, so that we can all have jobs to do to take care of our siblings, our parents, and take care of ourselves also. So please, all the youth, everyone, whoever you are, whether you are NDC, MPP, CPP, even those who don't know what they are going to do in this election, they should all come out, and for the betterment of Ghanaian youth, they should come out and vote.
You heard there the son of former President John Evans Atamils, that's Samuel Atamils. Services at all National Identification Authority offices have fully resumed. This follows the end of an industrial action by the staff who had stayed off work due to the authority's failure to implement a newly approved scheme of service. The staff had also demanded that the authority migrates all employees onto the new scheme of service. In an interview with Citi News, General Secretary of the Divisional Executives Council of the Public Services Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress, Ghana, representing the National Identification Authority, Kwabena Edutreme, stated that all their concerns have been addressed.
The governing board of NIA, together with management and the mother union, had a meeting on the Tuesday to discuss the concerns raised by the union. After a successful deliberations, they are through to us to call out the strike. And looking at the sensitivity of the job and what our concerns have been addressed, then there was no need to further continue on the strike rather than to call it off. So the concerns that has to do with the submission of the scheme of service has been done, and then the migration processes has been also, a committee has been composed to see to its implementation of that document, and we should be reporting back to the board in a month's time about the progress of that document.
That was the General Secretary of the Divisional Executives Council of the Public Services Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress, representing the National Identification Authority, Kwabena Edutreme. The Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, has issued a dire warning about the devastating impact of continuous deforestation, destruction of water bodies and forest reserves. This comes in the wake of the growing concerns over illegal mining activities, also known as Galamsey. The acting director of the Climate Change Unit at the EPA, Dr. Emmanuel Techiobing, emphasized the urgent need for a shift in mindset and actions to protect the environment during the official launch of the 2024 Climate Change Week.
It has become very, very important in that we are actually destroying the environment where our life depends on it. The environment is where our life depends on it. So if we destroy our water, we destroy our trees, we destroy our agricultural crops, we destroy the soil, a time will come human beings cannot live anymore. As the adage goes, that when the last tree dies, the last man also dies. So because of that, we have actually themed this year's Climate Change Week to actually reflect our mind on the need to actually change our lifestyle, change our mind, to reorganize the environment again. So the soil gives us the food we eat, the water gives us the water we drink, and then the trees give us the air we breathe. If we destroy all these major natural resources, our life will come into an end. So that is why we actually celebrating this Climate Change Week.
That was the acting director of the Climate Change Unit at the Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Emmanuel Tichiobing. The Achimebwakwa Traditional Council has thrown its support behind the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners and their quest to get rid of all illegal miners operating on river bodies in the country. The association, together with the military as part of government's efforts to clamp down on activities of the Galamsey menace yesterday, commenced operations where some chamfangs and other mining equipment were set ablaze in the Etiwa East District of the Eastern Region. Speaking to Citi News on the sidelines of the Sustainable Small-Scale Mining for National Development in Osino, General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, Godwin Ama, indicated that the association will use its river wardens and the police to sustain the fight when the military withdraws.
The issue or the menace of illegal mining is a national challenge, but the solution is at the local level, as we all know. So the Small Scale Miners Association, in collaboration with the military, we started operation yesterday here. And we've been able to clamp down some chamfans on the river bodies. And we are still working. The next phase, we'll be looking at the Densu River and then also work closely to stop the illegal mining operations around those areas. So the whole strategy is we've segmented the whole river into sections and then we'll be sweeping them along. But if the military even leaves, we have the water wardens and then the task force and then the police that will be working to ensure that we'll sustain the effort and let these illegal operators, we chase them out. All the red zones, we are working within the red zones. But the main focus is first take all the chamfans or the dredges from the river body.
Mr. Ama further called on the government to restrict the importation and assembling of chamfangs into the country to help the fight against illegal mining.
We cleared all of them and they came back again. But what we realized is that engine, that is the chamfan. If government will restrict its importation, it will help, and the spare parts. Because the root cause, if we are not able to identify, then we will not be able to plug it properly. Now we clear them, in no time they bring it. We have so many shops, Western region, Eastern region, Ashanti, so many shops that the Chinese import these chamfans. They are making so much profit, but look at the devastation that is causing. So when we restrict it, if you have license, then you'll be giving some to work with. If you want to use it for welding, they will give you. So you reduce the number of chamfans in the system. If we don't reduce it, they will end up on our rivers.
Godwin Ama is the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. Now, a former Black Star striker, Augustine Ahemfo, has expressed concern over what he terms the excessive noise surrounding the national team, blaming it for Ghana's struggles in the ongoing 2025 AFCON qualifiers. Mr. Ahemfo highlighted the controversy over the mismanagement of sports facilities, which resulted in CAF revoking the Baba Yara Sports Stadium's license, and also pointed to Ket Okweku's address to the players ahead of the Sudan match as a major factor that hurt the team's morale. He added that Ghana undermined its efforts by failing to create a supportive environment for the players.
I don't want to call the FA president's speech a rant. He spoke to the players, yes, passionately, yes. My issue with it was that should that have been recorded and put it on out there in the public domain like that? Should that have been the case? Yes, he spoke to them. But this thing should be done privately. We are not so we should not know what happens in there. Pep Guardiola and all these top coaches, Mourinho, they do worse things in the dressing room. How many times do we see them? Who are we trying to impress? The field you spoke about, yes, that one is a shame on all of us. And that we need to begin to administer or put proper people at the Accra Sports Stadium of Kumasi, in Tapua, wherever, to maintain and keep that field in good shape at all times. The maintenance culture of Ghanaians. Like you said, we have to look at the things that we speak about publicly and the things that we are not supposed to speak about. And one thing that I saw that made me sad was that player thing to come and take an ice chest and he's a local player. It really, really made me sad. Where are we going to? Where do we want to arrive? Are these matters important to be discussed publicly?
There was a former Black Star striker, Augustine ahemfo. That'll be all for today's edition of the City Prime News, which came to you live from number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. For more news, visit citynewsroom.com. You can also use the hashtags Ghana Polls 2024 and City Verified for more election-related stories. My name is Zoe Abubeiduado. Keep listening to the Election Bureau. Good afternoon.